Two, women are subjugated by men and the society generally, but women are also subjugating themselves. In a culture where we now have many women thinking that their only way up is their body, no longer just the culture pushing them down, it is beautiful to see women who are empowering themselves and are rising. So please stand up and let us bring to the yes, let's bring to the podium Doubra Emein'S, and she will be speaking as to how women, particularly young women from here, can change the narrative of the city. Thank you very much.
Hello. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? So this thing that people have done, that you have put me here like this, you just be like saying they put me inside box. I usually like to, please let's sit down. Thank you. I usually like to move around. I'm short-sighted. So I like to come closer. Can I pull this away? Is this possible? Please. Thank you. Can you take it off? Eh? All right. So I have 20 minutes. Yes. Better. Right. My name is Doubra. He has introduced me already, and I'm here to speak about the excellence behind, or the vision behind, the Businesswomen Connect. So I'm a little different from most of you here, in that I don't really care about the Warri to the world conversation. Right? It doesn't do anything for me. That's because, and Mr. Freeborn pointed something out, where he says that we are part of a global community. So I find that when we start to think from just the Warri perspective, there's already a conditioning that allows us just limit ourselves to, because now Warri, like this, they okay. Because now Warri, if I reach here, I don't try. After all, what's in the town? And we see it every day in everything that people do. So they do something that kind of sort of looks all right. And then we are applauding it. In fact, they don't hate themselves. They're like, men or more, I'm so great at what. And I mean, if they measured up against their contemporaries anywhere else in the world, quite sincerely, they've done crap. Right? So that's why I'm not very for that conversation. Now, is there a possibility that your environment can cause such limitations? Yes. So sometimes the space doesn't have everything that makes it enabling. And that's part of the problem of this space, right? But however, it's the people who can change how that feels, right? So, I mean, I'll use an example. There are many people who have now left Warri not the work. They've gone to Lagos and they're still not doing anything, right? Then they complain now, and they tell you what they talk. It's not working. If to safe now Lagos I did, and you don't know shit. Sorry, you know first. You are in church, right? You don't know anything. You've been doing one business for what, 4 years? You haven't ever gone for a training. You haven't ever just opened your phone and just go to Udemy and just find a course to, learn. You haven't ever seen the people above you and say, let me just sit at their feet. I find that everybody wants to sit at the table. And there's a lot to learn at the feet, right? But people want to sit at the table and say, wait till she feels say she be. Wait till he feels say he be. So I'll use a small example. Mr. Jollof is here. And I saw it play out during the Emein'S thing, right? And I found it really hilarious that we usually as a people are so wound up by somebody coming to hijack, somebody coming to usurp, somebody coming to take our place, instead of seeing what's the value I can get from this person. So Mr. Jollof comes into the thing, and instead of them seeing what his platform can do for, this movement in this space, they began to personalize the issues. They began to say, oh, Mr. Jollof, you see, Mr. Jollof will overshadow it. Who cares? He has built a bigger platform than I have. So it is always an advantage for me to align with him. Am I his biggest fan? Absolutely not. But do I see the value? The answer is yes. Right? Like some of the things that they do. Sometimes I'll just call his wife from the back, like, this person, how are you coping? She said, and don't even tell me, I don't even want to know what he's posting. Because I they boil. But you see, at the end, there's an underlying value. And so that's part of the story of the Business Women Connect, where it was just in 2017, there was so much going on for women everywhere except here. And prior to then, and even till now, I always go for conferences, training. And I'll give you an example. There was a year that I wanted to go for one training in Lagos, and it was 100,000. I didn't have it. I was sure that I was going to have it. There was 150,000. I was sure I was going to have it before the week of the thing. And I'd called, I'd made the inquiries, so the people were very nice, they called me and all of those. 2 days, I still didn't have all of the money. So the woman called me and said, so I started to want to avoid her. So she tried to call me. I eventually picked up her call. I just thought I should say, I don't have the money. She now said, okay, do you know what they're going to do for me? I'm going to come, they're going to allow me to do it at 100,000, and I can pay, I'm going to pay once, but pay, you understand? How do you say it? Come. So it seemed like somebody had tricked me. Arrogance. Thinking that somebody is trying to take advantage where there's no advantage to take. You know, it irks me. Well, back to my story. So I went. Anyway, moving forward, many things were happening. I used to find that when I go for these things, I'll be the only one from here. So it's either me and somebody, me and somebody, me and somebody. It always used to happen. And I said, look, so there are many reasons. And then again, there was all these women groups in Warri, not to shade anybody, but all their groups were just like Ashobi to party. And I wasn't really seeing. So I said part of the problem of Warri is that we have a very uneducated school, a very unenlightened elite. So we have a lot of people with money, but they don't have much more than money. Right? So you see a big man, and the person will be passing. I'll give you another example. I'm a storyteller. So today I just saw this woman in the bank. She looked so nice. Her skin was really great in this space. So a few people said, what do you have in your mind? I said, okay, let's get to work. Quite sincerely, we didn't know what we wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to do something. We cannot continue like this, you know. I wrote and wrote and wrote, so I forwarded it to her. I started thinking, I guess more, because I'm not afraid to give. I'm not afraid to give of myself. Anyway, back to the story. I wrote the questions, we went back and forth. So I don't even know her full name. So I just remembered, I said, okay, let me check Facebook. I checked Facebook, brothers and sisters doing the same program, same vision, everything in Lagos. I just sent her a message saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I know I broke I just let her go. They want to come to established places because it's not good for their brand to be associated to things that are first time, because sometimes they're not able to follow through, and things that have some level of track record, because you cannot really pay me. So there's something that I must be able to take away from it. So, but she said just the little things, good English on the page, right? The flyers, just the way everything looked. She came, and she was very impressed. There was nothing, we didn't have, when I say there's nothing to give. So we had one of our partners who was a caterer, and in fact, she was just stepping out in business at the time, and just because he mulled rice, fine. Can't be like, say we do one better thing. But you see, that's why I say that the bar was really low, that even the simplest things began to look elevated, right? And even in that simple thing that looked elevated, there was a big man's wife who sat in the group and said, next year I go do my own. But you see, those sort of conversations is what we need to be moving away, and that's why we have continued to do it. I see that many times people usually like to do friendships, and me, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't, but I have a lot of value partners. I would align with Cassandra because there's something within her space that attracts me to her. I align with Shegun because there's something within his space that attracts me to him. That for the greater good, right, I don't mind to meet her. So that's why when we're looking for partners within the space and, we're trying to source for funds and just people that want to align with, we're always very careful. Many times we see people waiting for us to come to them because they just expect that either they do this kind of thing we suppose no. But the truth is that you don't necessarily have and we're not ashamed of it. Because what are we trying to do is that we're trying to build a community of excellence, right? In that we want to begin to change the way women see themselves, that we're not, again, back to the first thing that I said about that limiting belief where automatically because you're in Warri, the bar should be lower for you. And I disagree. He made a lot of points that I really appreciated. And I mean, if he was doing that low-balling thing, right, the free tech thing he was doing, he'll still be doing it till now. Because they're not really seeing, he's there, he's trying, but he's not coming strong with that, like he said, outside of the fact that I'm able to do my work, right? I know my work. What other leadership skills? What other things make me unreplaceable within this space that somebody in America can look at it and say, right, this is great. What this guy is doing is great. What these women are doing is good. So every time, we've been fortunate, not just fortunate, we've actually really put in the work that allows, every time we create new partners, new people, new speakers, they become allies. That's because we're doing it from a place of excellence, that we don't allow our environment limit. So sometimes they'll say, we don't have money. Let's go and use one small hall that is 200,000. It will save us. It will save us a lot because we're pulling our funds in. I mean, registration alone will not fly everybody in, right? And sometimes the partnerships, they're money and sometimes they're just clout. And that's all right. We want to ride on the back of people who have gone ahead of us. But I say, no, I'm not going to register. I'm not going to use a small, it doesn't matter how. Because if we say that we're doing a conference, then we expect volume, right? If we say we're doing an international women's conference, then we expect a conference that women from other parts of the world can see and can, be drawn to. If you say we are doing it for Warri women, because we get bad, man, we don't want the day where they go better one in their mind. You can't be like, say, what will their bride they do? You know what, cool. You understand? So it's like you're now opening their eyes. Use Mr. Jolo's program he does in December. He can scale it for many reasons. For all of the reasons that we say that Warri doesn't work for. But he doesn't. He doesn't. It's the first person that did that big letter thing. I know how much that thing costs. I did it for King. And that's the only kind of place I would attempt it. I won't do it for TBW. Right? I won't do it. We don't sell tables. I don't do beef now. Right? We don't do the things he does. But what am I saying is that our whole goal is to just do things properly, excellently, from whatever level that we can try. So we started at Best Western, and then we moved from Best Western. At the Best Western, we just had the one backdrop. We had the couch on the stage. At that time, people were not even doing couches on stage, but we knew that that was the standard conference, stage. We had a podium that wasn't even a proper podium, and we put tablecloth on it, right? And Tara set up something outside. But from there, by the next time she came, we were in Brown Hill, and we had, an entrance. We had all of those things that can see that we have moved from point A to point B. And from point B, on the next one, we went to point C. And in point C, a first lady of our own volition came to just come and see. The first lady of Bayelsa came to just come and see, and she brought a delegate of about 100 women. And just came, she registered all of them, and just came because she just wanted to see what we were doing. If we're not putting in the work, how do we attract such a woman? Right? Behind the scenes, the Delta State government sponsors us. They don't sponsor a lot of things, I tell you. And I've never gone to his office or anybody's house, to go and gravel. That's another thing. Ass kissing. No vessel, we're in church. Right? Excuse my pun. That's the thing. You cannot invest so much in ass kissing. You cannot invest so much in praise singing. I know that our big men like all of those kind of things, but it's not a valid investment. So can you honor people? The answer is yes, because people have gone ahead of you. So you give people honor, right? Because it is their due. For whatever position they are in, it is their due. But you must come to them with some value on your side, so that if nothing else, they don't feel as if they are dashing you, or they are giving you, or they just give you, they make you they go about your wahala many. So that's why at TBWC, with the Business Women Connect, and even, I dare say, my business, I've never really been for, I want to work for this big man, or, I remember once, I digress, for Brad E., one big man wanted to do something. Apparently, everybody was lobbying. I didn't know that people even do stuff like that. And somebody called me and said, now for you just sit down, everybody day, chief, they do it. Anyway, I've dropped your phone number. Call him. So that I said, please give him my phone number. Let them call me. Show them my work. Right? If he decides that this looks interesting to him, then let them make the first call. Then I will follow up. If I have to call him breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I will. If he says call me at 2, I will call him at 2. Call me at 3, I will call him at 3. However, that first initiation, that first contact must come from them, because they are the one that is looking for a service. They're the one that is looking for a value. If he chooses not to call me, right, then it's fine, because somebody else will call me. Rooms will be open to me in other places by virtue of value. And that value that, I bring to that table is the one that, even if we quarrel, because every event doesn't go great, every system doesn't go great, there will be good days and bad days. Even if we quarrel, because he has invested in seeing the value that we bring, right? Because they've invested in seeing the value that I bring, the team brings, right? They will still refer. So they might not, you might just hear from back that Mr. So